Blazing screens, chaos unfolds, crimson law, tales retold, anime wars, blades collide, justice screams, nowhere to hide. Crimson law, judgment reigns, shock critique, breaking chains, blood red ink by the blade, truth unleashed for silverhead, elven face. Elven face. Neon skies, warriors clash, pixel worlds, honor smashed, battle cries, vengeance near, crimson's wrath, all self-fear. Thunder roars, the verdict grim, mechs explode, lights grow dim, bloodlines torn, broken dreams, crimson law, silencing screams. As heroes fall and villains rise, shattered dreams and severed ties, stand and fight, the time is nigh, rising up to do what's right. Crimson law, judgment reigns, shock critique, breaking chains, blood red ink by the blade, truth unleashed for silverhead, elven babes.
Good evening, everyone. And boy, do we have a lot to talk about tonight because I ended up watching a whole lot more anime than I expected this season. Fortunately, I'm not going to be watching all of them, so we're still going to be continuing on with the thing that I was talking about last week. So with that said, let's start talking a little bit about what we're going to talk about tonight. But first, say hello to chat, particularly Biggles, who says, "I am here," with his best All Might impersonation. Muffler tape, Biggles came early. Clip it, lol. You are just jealous that I got the job done so fast I don't need to waste time. And then, of course, we have Marcel with the Obi-Wan Kenobi impression. Hello there. I can't do a very good British accent. I'm sorry. Did you watch Mechanical Mary now? We'll get into that. I have watched Mechanical Mary. The only ones that I am behind on right now that I do intend to watch are Cat's Eye, which I didn't get around to because I had to finish up the wrong way to use healing magic, which we'll be talking about tonight. As well as My Friend's Little Sister Has It In For Me. I didn't watch episode 2 of that. Those are the only ones. It is not Mary. It is Marie. You know what? Go fuck yourself, Biggles. Go fuck yourself, Biggles. And just in the spirit of that, here's the clip-worthy moment of the night. Okay, just the fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. All of you who harassed me about classless hero or hero without a class. Every single one of you motherfuckers. Okay, I think it's just this end. It looks like it's just this end. Okay. So there you go. There's your clip. Okay? Every one of you motherfuckers who harassed me over Hero Without a Class. When I said that the show sucked. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you. Oh, we're only fine. Oh, we're only 5 minutes in. And I if I were monetized, I'd have problems because we're only 5 minutes in. But oh well, here we are. So yeah, like tonight we're gonna be going over a lot of this stuff. There's a couple of them that I may drop depending on who in chat is actually watching them, and there are others that I have already dropped, regardless of how people feel about them. And just to say hello to JM, the Elite Fan. Nice to see you around. And of course, Jeremy Turner. Showing up right at the right time. Okay, so there is the title earned, where irrational hatred becomes rational. Okay. Um, but to start, we are going to begin with a little bit of a segment called talking about a manga that I finished. So this is one that has run for quite some time, and I decided to pick all of it up because it was on sale and was fairly impressed with this. Interviews with Monster Girls. And now if any of you are, like, I don't know, does Monster Girl count as a genre? Because I feel like the most notable ones that come out of this are usually like ecchi series. This one is not. So like unlike Monster Musume, which I do like, this one is not ecchi. It's just kind of like a straight up like slice of life series. Slice of life comedy. Yeah, mythology school, urban fantasy, comedy fantasy. I guess you could call it fantasy because it has Doulahans, vampires, snow women, a succubus. There is a succubus. But I went into this series expecting something like, like maybe I'll like it. And as you see here, now that I've completed it, I have it rated at an 8, and I will make this a little bit bigger so that people can see it. But I have decided to give this one an 8. First of all, insofar as this goes, I think it's written very well. I like a lot of the characters. It doesn't balloon its cast. It remains focused on a couple of characters. So we can scroll down here. I mean, we have Hikari Takanashi. Why am I struggling with it? Hikari Takanashi, and she's a vampire. And she is like the total like bubbly, very outgoing Gyaru kind of girl. And they do a little bit of like an interesting take on the vampire thing. So like she does still like need to drink blood and everything. But she doesn't like get like vaporized by sunlight. She just burns really quickly. Doesn't have a problem like it does have a decently compelling plot. We'll get into that. She's a very fun character. Here is, Sakie Sato, the succubus math teacher. And this is kind of a B plot, but like she's like really afraid of like meeting people because in this world, her powers as a succubus are something that like she doesn't fully have control over. Um, so she is very like scared of like like showing off or like being like very personal with someone because you can be essayed by a dude if you accidentally use your powers on him. And she has a thing for the biology teacher who is basically the main character, Tetsuo Takahashi. And now this is like a B plot sort of thing, like their whole love story that happens across this series. But it's nice to see. You also have the Doulahan, Kyoko Machi, Ice Woman, Yuki Kusakabe, and there's actually an anime out here for this, and a bunch of other supporting characters. So like Kurtz, and Ugaki, they're like government agents. This guy Soma, he is a physics professor, and they go into some very interesting detail about like how the whole Doulahan thing works. Um, like all the like physics of it, like transcending like three-dimensional space and all that. It gets really nerdy at times, but it ends up being more so just like a slice of life thing that sort of focuses on individual characters' problems and like how they deal with their unique lifestyle. So you'll get entire chapters about how Hikari is very self-conscious about being a vampire because she's worried about this incident that happened when she was a kid where she ended up biting her twin sister, Himari. Um Yuki is someone who is like super reserved and everything. If they're cute girls, I don't care if they have glitter all over them. I think she probably has like the weakest story of them all. Kyoko Machi has a good backstory. It really is more so about like just like they like conveying them as like effectively different humans. And I think that's really one of like the big charms of it. It's very well paced. It's only 78 chapters. It's not an exceedingly long series. I actually really like the art style for it. It has it gives it its own unique charm. It doesn't feel like this thing was created as just a copy paste. And it has its moments of humor and everything. I like it isn't like Konosuba, like laugh your ass off kind of humor, but it's a nice compliment to everything that is happening in the series. So, does Crimson recommend this? If you're a fan of slice of life and, mild romance and you can, get along through it without the etchy, it's really good. I think the characters and like it's a slice of life series, so it's much more focused on the characters and their story, and it does that very well. I find a lot of them compelling, or at the very least, entertaining to have around. Like Yuki, not the most compelling character in the cast, but still, she's funny to have around because, well, there are certain quirks to her personality. So this is the big read that I have had this week. I finished that up. Unfortunately, I'm still working on Chojin X because I'm gonna be honest, I'm a bum. I would have ordered more manga, but I happen to have spent too much money. So I'm gonna keep reading through all of the stuff I already have. And Chojin X I'll probably be talking about more next week. Oh, you're probably talking about Biggles here. I do. Glitter gets everywhere. You ever fuck a stripper? It is on you for weeks. That is some Biggles shit to say. Yeah, I don't hate to like briefly talk about Chojin X. I don't hate it. I don't feel like it has like the most enthralling start to it, but it hasn't repulsed me. I find certain elements of it very intriguing, and I do want to get deeper into it. But that said, there's something bigger that we're going to talk about tonight, and I was literally binging this right up until about 10 minutes before stream. Anyone who is in the Rolo Romecast Discord would know that I just posted a video where this was playing in the background, talking about how my dog is scared of his new bed. It is time to talk about the anime that I watched last week to catch up on, and that is The Wrong Way to Use Healing Magic. And right after this, we'll get into the results of the poll from last week, and I will give you guys the opportunity to come up with suggestions for this week's poll. So we are going to, do the whole live review thing here on Criticless to talk about the wrong way to use healing magic. Is it gonna? It's gonna make me verify my phone number. Are you fucking with me? Yeah, this is the thing. Like, I don't. I'm signed in. It says Crimson Law. My profile. I guess it did sign. It didn't sign me in correctly. This site is being absolutely. This is going poorly. Oh, all right. Critic list. Sign in. My username. Okay. This this is being a massive pain in the ass. As a person who has done troubleshooting, yeah, logging out and in, and even trying in a private window. See, I have a solution to this. I could just bring up my critic list tab. Somewhere else. We'll just do this here. We'll do it this way. Can I present through here? Share screen. Yeah, let's just do this. Add this to stage, and we'll do it from here. Because this thing is being stupid as fuck. Okay. I don't give a shit. Let's search. Oops. Got that backward. There we go. Wrong way to use healing magic. Let's add our review. All right. So how would we rate this? For me, I would give it an 85. And now we will get into this. So is there any graphic language? I would say a bit. And it's pretty standard for anime. How much violence? I'm going to say a lot. Because they do have a lot of combat, and some of it can be rather gruesome. Is there any nudity sexual content? I mean, the only thing you could count would be the male character with his shirt off, I think. That's the only one I remember. Is the main character Usato? That is like literally like the worst I think you can get out of it. Political bias? Hell no. Yeah, the female hero. Like if anything, like thirsty girl. Yeah. Is it family friendly? I would say very. It might not be suitable for extremely young viewers, but the content is very clean and pretty wholesome. How much entertainment value? I would say a ton. It's very well done, has a good sense of humor, and a well constructed story. And now we get to our review. And so we'll get into it. Normally, I start these things off with a bit of a recap, but most people have already watched this. And I will do this review and I will go into even more detail after the fact. So, what do you think? The Wrong Way. Way to. That's wrong. Magic. The Wrong Way to Use Healing Magic is a highly competent story about a young man accidentally summoned into another world only to be subjected to the hellish training of one mad woman named Rose. So how do we want to word this for the review? Because for me, I usually say a lot of things that I won't write down or say them in a way that I won't write it. Effectively, what I'm trying to convey here is that I think this story is very well done, even if it does have some issues with it. It isn't a perfect series, but it is a very well done one that has good characters and a competent plot in here. So we'll focus. Now I need to do a double back and make sure I can name the characters properly. Yeah, Ken Usato. Okay. And the focus is largely on Ken Usato, our mentioned protagonist caught up in the summoning of two other classmates of his. we'll get into this at like a little bit more so I can think clearly, because trying to write this and talk about it at the same time isn't exactly the easiest for me. I can't multitask like that. Um, when it's discovered, he has the rather rare healing magic. He's scooped up and thrown into the rescue squad. We'll just leave it there. In terms of story, I don't think this one has the perfect. I don't think this one has. Sorry, that's going the wrong way. Too many fancy frills. That is to say that the plot is a rather simple and straight forward adventure story. It doesn't really rely on a lot of foreshadowing, nor does it seem to incorporate massive plot twists into its writing. And that's not necessarily to degrade the show, because whether or not something has plot twists or whether it has a lot of foreshadowing to future events or anything, I don't think is a determining factor in how good the overall thing is. If you foreshadow shitty events, they're still shitty events. I can respect the intricacy of the work and still not like how it goes. Um, it It applies the KISS rule. Keep it simple, stupid. And doesn't try to pretend to be some grand 4D chess kind of masterpiece. Where it focuses most of its writing prowess is in its characters. For example, even if Usato lacks confidence in himself, he still has enough backbone to not be a pansy about it. How else do we want to go about this? What else do we want to say about this? No, we need to talk a little bit more about Usato since we're on the topic, just so the flow of this is good. With a tragic story that motivate him to do all to do or to be a hero. He's oops, we're not Spanish, that's a J. He's just a guy put into a position to help people out and decides to take that and decides to put his all into that role. While some other characters have more complicated and weighty motivations for the things that they do, Usato generally being a good person is one of the qualities I really liked. Generally being a good person, how do I say this? Being a good person just by nature rather than by some experience or whatever. He doesn't have some like Bruce Wayne kind of backstory that motivates him to do the things he does. He doesn't have some sort of like tragedy in his life that pushes him to do things. He just sees that he is in a position to do some good and does it. In effect, he is he doesn't have any particular reason is one of the qualities I really like. There's also a good blend of levity added by comedy derived from character interactions as well as the situation. All right, looks like I gotta correct some spellings here. Confidence. I believe I added an extra R here. Interaction. We can get rid of that. Interaction as well as the Usato finds himself in. So the hero Suzune turns out to be one of the most interesting characters in this regard, thirsting over Usato's muscles at every chance she gets. Oops. Okay, there we go. A solid. Come on. Oops. It's a solid A tier isekai. Is easy to watch and provides a hearty amount of entertainment value. provides. I hate that it does this. It's a solid A tier isekai that is easy to watch and provides a hard entertainment value. Can't see what I'm typing when it does that. There we go. Even more so than I expected. And we will publish that as the review. And I am not a robot. Published. So that's the review that goes up on Criticus. We can remove this and, of course, stop sharing. And now I will go into a little bit more detail to talk about this anime because it deserves a little bit more discussion. Sorry, next time I will actually come prepared with the review ready so that I can, read over it and then publish it before we do this. I kind of have done this on the fly, so honestly, when it comes to how not the wrong way to use healing magic, it's one of the better isekais. I like its premise. It is very creative with some of the things it does. I like the idea that they take healing magic and make it something much more interesting than would normally be. I like that they have some creative ideas as far as magic goes, like the whole reflect thing that happens later in the story. That's interesting. You have, the whole cursed sword thing that prevents healing. There's some good stuff. Character backstories are overall very good. I feel like a lot of the the summoned heroes don't have that like tragedy that motivates them. They're just people sort of doing the thing that they can in the moment. And I actually like that kind of thing. Like they don't need the tragedy to motivate them. Rose is different. It makes a whole lot more sense when you sort of understand what makes her tick. Like once you get her backstory and you see everything that motivates her to be a healer and to form the rescue squad, I think it's great. And of course, you have these sort of like romances brewing in the background, where you have Inukami like going from like just thirsting over Usato to more so like trying to get his attention and like be alone with him and like more or less flirting with him. Meanwhile, you have Kazuki and the princess Celia like very clearly like getting closer and closer over the whole course of the series, and like she very clearly has a thing for him. And you have mascot characters like Blurin, which normally I like. Mascot characters are some of the first that I would like throw punches at because fuck Grogu. But I don't have a problem with Blurin. I think he's actually a very decent character. The one place where I will complain about this one is I want to go play Digimon, so I am bribing you to forgive me. I will watch the rest later. Scarlet is amazing. Awkward Senpai Monica Award. Thank you, Biggles. I appreciate that. And of course, that earns you. I didn't mean to do that twice. Anyway. Have fun playing Digimon, fucker. Yeah, normally the first group of characters I will start to throw punches at are mascot characters, because mascot characters more often than not annoy the shit out of me. Blurin I like. The one area where I will criticize this and say where like this is like the clear area where I think it can improve is in its fight scenes and animation. They aren't horrible by any means. I think they're probably like the mid-grade sort of things, but they do rely on a lot of freeze frames in those fights. Is it the worst kind of freeze framing? No, but when it comes to like actual impacts and attacks and everything, you'll see a lot of it done with just still frames. However, a lot of the like consequence or like the aftermath of attacks and stuff is animated, and they do a pretty decent job. Still, I would put it at like that. I don't know, tier 2, tier 3 kind of animation where like the studio could likely have like do better with it. You could probably get better animators out there, but it isn't necessary because with its animation is good enough to pass. Like it gets a passing grade. And its story is really good. Its character is awesome. Its sense of humor, love it. The intro to this, Cure, I listened to it every time. Every time. I love that song, and I have loved it even before I started this anime. So overall, if we're doing it like a tier list of isekais, there's this hair that has been floating around in my face, and I finally got it. If we're doing a tier list of isekais, this would go very easily in the upper end of the A tier isekai category. Why not S tier? Well, to me, there are still certain things about it that I feel like could have been done better. And those come into very like nitpicky, like anal details that I look at when it comes to fantasy settings. But suffice it to say, it's a good watch. It's a very, very good watch. And I'm glad that I got through it. So, with that said, there is another thing that does need to get brought up. And I wonder if it's going to let me in my studio here. Yeah, okay. So, community, we're going to go, content. We're going to go to posts. And officially, the poll is like from here, the poll has concluded. The chat has voiced their opinion. Next week, by a margin of 59%, it won. Or with 59% of the vote. So over half the vote total. I will be watching Akiba Made War. So for those of you who are regular viewers around here, get your suggestions ready for the end of the stream, and we will take those for the poll. And of course, I'm going to put in one that I myself would like to watch, and then I'll let you guys do the rest. So that is where we are at. Akiba Made War next week. Also, hi Roman, how you doing? But we are 45 minutes in, and we haven't even started talking about the big item of the night. And that is, of course, anime rankings. So here's where we were last week. Not a whole lot on the top end, but very, very many on the interesting or on the okay to interesting spectrum. So like the it passes as watchable to the it has my interest kind of stuff. And we will work our way down the list. So Gachiakuta being number 1. And I'm going to be a little bit more brief on these than I normally am, but that's just because time's sake. So with Gachiakuta, we get Amo's backstory and the very creepy, disgusting stuff that happened to her. Holy crap, did the studio do a really good job of presenting that in like the creepiest way they possibly could have. Of course, in this, we get Rudo's resolve in him trying to, make up with Amo after, beating the crap out of her. Again, I don't blame him for his outburst after she basically made him relive the worst memory of his life. Like, I understand the rage in that, but the fact that he is, able to go and recognize that he screwed up is good. And then, of course, at the very end, we have the return of Jabber, that asshole Jabber, just so he can acquire Amo's boots. And I don't know what's going to be coming next, but there's some fucked up stuff going on. We are going to find out tomorrow. Overall, very good episode. I like the way they've done character work and all of this. So gotta love Gotcha. All right. Move on into the second one from the top. Well, this is technically the first one from the top. The Boxing Queen, the Lady of Beatings, the Scarlet Vandamillion. It's May I Ask for One Final Thing. This show does not disappoint. I love it. It's so good. So, what happens in this episode? Scarlet goes to check out how to get into this slave auction and everything, and she's working with the Beastkin guy, the Beastkin femboy. They go through that whole exchange, and she has a run-in with one of the guys' slaves, and he's being like pretty fucking violent and everything. He's acting all tough, and then has a run-in with the Lady of Beatings herself. He goes to whip the poor boy and then gets stopped very quickly and sent flying. So we appreciate that. And then the other part of this episode is, of course, the meeting with the brother and the first prince. So that was entertaining in and of itself, like just the brother being like fed up with her. He's the sensible one. Meanwhile, you have the prince being the prince. All around, this show is just great. I love the way our three big characters have been written. I like the story of it. I like the antagonist so far as she's appeared right now. Because at the very end, I don't know if it was after or before or after the credits, she shows up again, and like I kind of thought, or it may have actually said out loud on these streams, she is working with the prime minister, and it seems like she's the one pulling the strings, because now she's giving out flintlocks. Yeah, this girl is out here just handing out flintlocks to people, and that is, well, let's just say, if your magic system, if you're not careful with your magic system, you can, like, it's funny when a gun gets introduced to it. It just, that's a nice, like, detailed, nuanced magic system. But I've got a gun. So there's some interesting things going on there. I am very, very happy to see what they've been doing with this. This is again another one where, like, if the animation was like another tier or two above what it is now, you would probably see this one talked about like everywhere. Everyone would be watching this. But because it mostly focuses on story and it doesn't actually have like the craziest fight scenes or whatever, it doesn't get all the same hype that the normal stuff does. All right, and the next one down the list would be Ranma. Oh boy, have I liked this latest season of Ranma. That would be a very, very interesting thing to have to happen. That honestly would be a very, that's not something I had considered. Like, if this turns out to be like an isekai, but the villain of the story is the one who got isekai, that would be a very interesting take. that would be, if that is the case, I would probably like say like, yeah, this is probably the best anime of the season for doing something really creative like that. Of course, that depends on how they actually portray it, but given the writing that I've seen of this so far, I doubt that they're gonna fuck it up. Okay. So Ranma and a half, season 2. I've liked these first 2 episodes. I think this one's very, very good. We have some new characters introduced. Moose is now on the loose. I'm sorry I had to do that. I had to. I even put it in my notes to make sure that I made the joke about Moose being on the loose. And of course, Shampoo is now back, but she turns into a cat now because Rita Repulsa is her grandmother. And she is here to try and force Ranma into, marrying Shampoo, which is, things are getting really fucky now. And a series of unfortunate misunderstandings has just occurred, and now Ranma is back in the doghouse with Akane. Because there was the kiss, and then there was him not remembering it, and then there was him getting caught in the tub with Shampoo, who sort of like followed him in there and ambushed him. I got a couple of good laughs out of this episode, so I'm enjoying this one. I'm really looking forward to more Ranma. Dusk after the end of the world. Where are we? It's up here. Dusk after the end of the world. Okay. So, we have some really interesting stuff going on in this one. It looks like, as far as this goes, like the animation is going to hold pretty well. Like, I'm very satisfied with everything that I've seen of this. We also get a good story out of this. Like, so far, I've liked the characters. It's very interesting to see that the androids all have Towasa's face, which leads me to believe, especially given her message where she talks about the sins she's committed and not to go find her, that she's probably somehow involved with the establishment of Owell. And if I had to give my theory, she probably ended up pursuing the creation of artificial intelligence and artificial personalities and used herself as a model. And these 3 versions of her that we've seen are just different versions of different compartmentalized versions of her personality. So even though they have different names, they're probably all fragments of Tawasa. The world building in Sticky Fingers. It has been pretty fresh take on post-apocalyptic world. I've liked it so far. I think it has set up a really good world. Like you said, it's a very interesting take. It's something different. It's given us a compelling reason for our main character to be out there looking around to try and figure out everything that's going on. And of course, we have a robot that really wants to have sex with our main character. Plus, I like that they have one of the details about this that I've really liked is they have all of these unique words for the things that for normal things like marriage and slavery. Like they actually come up with unique words and have detailed explanations for why those mechanics are the way they are in this. So, in spite of it starting out with a adopted brother, adopted sister sort of romance and this chick fingering herself, it's turned out to be a really good story. I'm keeping this one where it is. Man, my laptop is bugging out. But oh well. All right, and that brings us to Sanda. Sanda. I enjoy the I mean, and it's also very clear, as far as this goes, it's also very clear that she is a replica of his fiance that he is, refusing her in favor of. like just with her personality, her looks, and everything. I think it should be obvious to him that she's just, gone. Anyway, so let's talk about Sandra now. Because yes, I agree. That she deserves some. I would not be cucking the robot. Just saying. I personally would be like, all right, bet. Also, Sanda. We get introduced to another character who comes off as a sadist at first, but the more you like see him on screen, he becomes a better, more likable character. He also, gets the shit beaten out of him by the yandere at the end, so there's that. Torture Boy gets what's coming to him. The sleigh runners coming out of Sanda's feet was a very weird thing. Like that was pretty funny. And an interesting way to do things. But you know what? It's a batshit anime anyway, so might as well make it more batshit. And here is where we get to some of like the lore behind everything that's going on. So apparently, the world's gone so gone to shit that kids are now basically treated as royalty because there's so few of them. And you have this weird ass adrenochrome fueled old man who's running a school in an old department store just to protect kids. And in the meantime, he is also running a anti-Santa military unit. Like, this is just one of those ridiculous premises that I enjoy the hell out of. So I've liked the art style to it. I think it gives it a unique look. It makes it stand out. The animation has been pretty good. And just overall, the Saint Nick organization on his ass. Yeah, it's things are gonna get ridiculous, and I am all the way here for it. Okay, like I can't be the only one though who finds the school's headmaster really, really creepy. Like I thought we were going to get into some like child abuse kind of stuff there when he was like touching like the torture boy. He was touching torture boy's face. That one really creeped me out. Okay. So now we're getting into some of the ones that are going to move a little bit more. We're going to skip over my friend's younger sister has it in for me. And that was a Diddy moment. Mm-hmm. Because I haven't watched episode 2. I was not able to get to it tonight. I probably would have if I didn't have to help my dad install a countertop or move a countertop, but that's neither here nor there. But that takes us directly to Unlimited Gotcha, and I'm not saying that whole title because it is way too long. So where is Unlimited Gotcha in here? I'm going to have to reorganize my notes. So this was a very interesting episode, and I'm not going to lie, I have enjoyed the direction that this one has gone. Like, legitimately, I'm not going to lie. It went in a way that I actually was really satisfied with. So we get a time skip, and that makes things a little bit confusing at the beginning of this episode because it feels like you missed something when you go into this latest episode. You're kind of introduced to everything like after a time skip. It's been like 3 years, and now our boy has an entire kingdom running underneath the ground. Unlimited Gotcha is my favorite of the 3 High Dive series this season. Yeah, it's Unlimited Gotcha is pretty good. So there was a lot of humor with this episode. So last episode was really tragic. It was all like the story setup and everything. This episode was just kind of fucking funny. We get introduced to a lot of side characters. So obviously we get the main harem, we get the wizard girl, we get the cat girl, the maid that we met in episode 1. her lackeys. So there are more maids around here who are constantly upset about the fact that the head maid is the only one who um like gets to go into Light's bedroom. And yes, I do agree with this. I feel like we probably should have gotten a better transition into the time skip, but that's like one of my big reservations about it. But I think it did very well as an episode overall. Like once you catch on to what's going on, it's a very entertaining episode. So the maid core remind me of Evil Lord of an Intergalactic Empire. Yeah, kind of. They're just a bunch of pervert maids. The greatest thing, like just the maids were great, but my favorite part of this um was the night girl, the night captain, who doesn't have a single brain cell up in that skull of hers. She is just she's something else. She is absolutely something else. I think that was the part of this that made this whole thing hilarious is just the random cuts to the night girl just going through the halls and everything, and the biggles of swordswomen. But I think the thing I do want to praise the most about this latest episode of Unlimited Gotcha is they did what I had hoped they would do. They actually went and gave Light like a whole like training thing. Like he went and actually like learned skills from a bunch of different people that he summoned into this world. And I'm really glad that they actually like gave him a power up and he's actually going to be able to fight on his own. He's out here trading hands with this dude um and like in a full-on slugfest and everything. I really appreciate that. He's not just going to rely on the summons for the whole thing. So I'm looking forward to more of this. Like, I'm genuinely surprised. I like this one a whole lot more. I thought this was going to be the biggest throwaway anime of the season, but no, it turned out to be much better than what I had expected. And that, of course, takes us to a wild last boss appeared. Where are we? Okay. So the first thing I want to note about a wild last boss appears. I was just gonna lurk until you said this is peak, man. I don't know. Look, I'm not saying it's peak. I'm just saying it is much better than what I had initially expected. Like I enjoy this show so much more than I ever thought I would. And there's still time for me to eat my words, but right now we're going to talk about Overlord Light. So, the one thing I do want to point out about a wild last boss appears, I believe the intro. You hate the dumb girl. I love the dumb girl. I think she is fantastic. So a wild last boss appears. The intro for this show, I really like it, and it reminds me. I believe it's probably the same group that did the intro for Reincarnated as a Sword. It sounds very similar to their musical style, and I kind of want to look it up, but I just didn't end up having the time to look it up. But insofar as this one goes, um, I'm warming up to it quite a bit. I have enjoyed it. So in this episode, we basically get the whole battle against Ares and everything. So he brings his army in and starts, fighting the kingdom. Has a go at the water golem that is protecting the kingdom, and knows full well that he can just sort of like whittle it down over and over and over again. Sorry about that. I started fiddling with keys and I shouldn't have done that. Then, of course, we have Lufus having a bit of a reunion with a couple of familiar faces. Um, Same group as Reincarnated as a Sword. Looked it up for you. Yeah, okay, that checks out. I like their intro for Reincarnated as a Sword. I like their intro for this. So yeah, we get that whole fight. The kaiju-sized sheep was a good touch. I did enjoy that. I think this one has pretty good animation so far. Like there are times where you can see like the studio has some talent behind, like in the people who are working for it, but there are other times where it also isn't quite what I would hope for. So it's good. It like this genuinely delivers on the animation front. It makes the fights fun to watch. I like the storytelling of it so far, like the characters that we've gotten. I love the abuse of Dina. it's it's so funny. She's like, "Do you remember me?" Gets her foot stomped. "Do you remember me?" Gets tossed around like a fucking rag doll. It's a great show. I'm not putting it in very good yet because I still think like there are some things about it that could be improved. We're going to see how it goes in the next couple of episodes, but I think this one does have a very good shot to make it up to the next tier. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. I think this one has potential to be like a really enjoyable. It already is a really enjoyable series, but I feel like this one's probably going to go for a little while, and I'm going to enjoy quite a bit of it. That brings us to my awkward senpai. And this one's just cute. Again, it's just a nice comfort series, so I don't really have like a ton that I could say about this, but like her whole gaming thing that happens in this episode, I thought I thought that was funny. I got a kick out of that. Where she's like sitting there with the mobile phone, she's doing the whole like thing that everyone does with Mario Kart and all that with racing games. She starts talking about how she really likes to play video games and all that. Like she's freaking out about being a hypocrite and all that. It's a really good comfort series. And Kohai Kun being a good guy is just I like that. Like he's a really nice person. She deserves a guy like Kohai Kun. That's all I really have to say about it. The intro, I don't know how to feel about this one yet because it can be it's really catchy. With the chorus, but getting to the chorus, I don't think it's like the greatest song. Episode 2 was better than episode 1. I'm not saying episode was bad. I just enjoy the newer episode. Yeah. I think the chorus for the OP is actually really catchy. Da 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 da. So this is one that's going to stay in the interesting category, I think, probably for the entire season, unless something like drastically changes with it. But I like it. Another comfort series that I have been watching is Inexpressive Kashiwada and Expressive Ota. And this is just another one that I think is like a like there's a couple of like good comfort anime to come out this season. Like My Awkward Senpai, Inexpressive Kashiwada, and Yano-kun's Ordinary Days. I think these are all like really good comfort anime that are going to sit in like the interesting category that are like, oh yeah, I like that. I look forward to watching that every week, but I don't really have much to like say or critique about it. So in this episode, we get like the pool, the swimming thing. I think that was probably my favorite part. The swimming thing and the lunchbox thing I thought were great parts. The hairband one was like a little ridiculous, but introducing the class rep who is like a huge fan of Kashiwada was funny. And our guy basically being like a male tsundere and like Just like, I don't want your lunch. Okay, I'll eat it. No, I'm gonna take it. It's mine. She made it for me, man. Mom said it's my turn on the Xbox. I like this show. I think it's very entertaining. But again, the pool thing that they start out with, where like she can't swim and all that, and like he's going to like teach her, like he's in complete denial about the fact that he has a thing for her. I think that's great. But then we come to the one that Arceus is freaking out about, and that is Yano Kun's Ordinary Days. uh, okay, so Yano Kun's Ordinary Days. I do enjoy this show. I think it's a little bit less of a comedy. It's more so like the like cute, like endearing sort of thing. Again, like I really like its art style. The fact that they're like going more so for the love story than the comedy part of it. I enjoy that part. So we basically get like lunchtime trouble where they have this whole thing about like getting Yano to eat lunch with them. The artwork thing was really nice where he's like really talented at art and just has all this trouble like trying to get to the point where he can draw things. And again, like it's a good comfort show. I wouldn't say it's peak. I wouldn't go so far as to call it peak, but I think it's a good comfort show. I enjoy it. Okay. So here's where we get to the Banished Court Magician. And here's where things are going to start getting shaken up. So, the Banished Court Magician. I am done with this, but it's going on the binge list. This is one like as of right now, I may consider just binging if it had a dub. Yes, it is. It's very copy paste when it comes to its plot. It's not being incredibly creative with anything. But insofar as like renditions of this go, I think this is one of the like the better renditions of it. And it would be one that I would enjoy more. I feel like this show drops the ball in a lot of areas, especially with like the main character being like super gloomy over like, oh, I'm still used to being inferior and all that. Even though I know I'm not, I'm used to being inferior and still behave like I'm inferior. And I have this complex. Like, shut the fuck up, dude. Shut the fuck up. You just went one-on-one with an S-rank adventurer and like without like full mana capacity or fighting capacity or anything. About endless period. It's lasting period. But yeah, here's another thing is like the characters just genuinely feel so generic. Like they don't feel special. And I can't really say I don't loathe this one because like at least like some things of it are like decently creative, but it's a very bland anime. It is without any significant uniqueness. So Banished Court Magician is officially off the list. We are done with that one. Another one that we will be done with. No, this is exactly how I feel about it. The only reason it's on the binge list is because I would consider it if it had a dub. I would consider just watching the whole thing if it had a dub. But right now, no, I'm being an asshole this season. I'm dropping as many as I don't feel like watching. I am not being respectful. Fuck it. Especially with this next one. Hero Without a Class. Bad. Shit. Fuck this show. Fuck it. Fuck it. Fuck it. Fuck it. I'm done. I am not watching any more of this. I can't. I can't with you people. So to explain why I'm frustrated, I gave it to the tournament episode, and it did exactly what I thought it would do. Arl sweeps the entire competition because for some reason he is Rock Lee with a motherfucking Sharingan, and he sees a technique once and is like, I can do that. It is the most unearned bullshit. Like, dude hardly struggles. The animation sucks. I don't know where you guys got that the animation was good. This was fucking A-Cat. You know, the guys who did T-Bait. It's a Studio A-Cat. But the one thing I can respect about this is we did have a man of culture moment where he looks at the girl's breastplate and like makes some kind of the whole breastplate thing was funny to me. But that the ED song is the same as T-Bates. Wait, did they just reuse the ending? Oh my god. Wait, are you saying they just used the exact same ending? Because if so, A-Cat is like literally the bottom of the barrel studio at that point. Hero Without a Class is just it's garbage. I'm not there is nothing good I can say about this other than the fact that you had one man of culture moment where he makes a joke about the other girl's boobs. I don't care. That's not enough to watch the show for. It like I don't care. Hero Without a Class is just it's bad. Another one that is bad? A Gatherer's Adventure in Isekai. This is another one. Fuck this show. Fuck it. Fuck it. Fuck it. I hate this show. Fuck that hoe ass dragon. The stupid Digimon looking motherfucker. And oh, great, we get a stinky elf in this one. I watched Campfire Cooking and said, based, based, based. Get this man an award. Oh God, I hate this show. Gatherer is shit as well. Gatherer and Hero Without a Class, they're shit. Fuck them. I don't want anything to do with these shows. I'm done. I'm not watching them anymore. Yeah, the for whatever reason, there's like this really weird like smell fetish going on here. Like, bro has like the greatest sense of smell ever, apparently. Either way, like neither of these are particularly good, especially not this one. I railed on this. This one's still worse. If you made me choose between these, I would pick Hero Without a Class over Gatherer. It's yeah. Okay, so we're gonna get to another one. Touring After the Apocalypse. This is another one that I'm kind of torn on. There are certain parts of it that I like. I don't hate the show. It's just not something that I really want to continue right now. So it's going on the binge list. This is one that I would probably binge with a dub. Because I don't hate it. It's just not something I want to continue right now. There's like the apocalypse thing that really intrigues me. like the end of the world, the cyborg stuff, all that. There's some like really interesting, like good storytelling that can be done with a lot of this. And there are certain things where I'm like, oh, is this going to be like darker than what I thought? Like, our main girl is like the last human on Earth. Is that what we're dealing with? But most of the stuff is just like tourism notes. It's just talking about like, hitting up a bunch of stuff. We don't actually get like the thing that I'm really craving out of this. So I don't want to watch it right now. It's by no means horrible. Um and then that brings us to the last one. Tojima wants to be a Kamen Rider or Kamen Rider. I always think Kamen for whatever reason because yeah. Tojima wants to be a Kamen Rider. And for all of the shit talk I have just done, this is the one that has defied the odds. This one. Right here. Oops. Didn't mean to go that far. Goes up to interesting. And now I gotta say that teacher, she is fucking hot, okay? That teacher, she is fucking hot. All right? Would. Absolutely. And did that play a major part into why I have moved this one up to the interesting and why I actually enjoy this one? Perhaps. But I also like the storytelling. I like that they're actually making direct references to a lot of like old school like Kamen Rider stuff, which I haven't watched, but I enjoy a lot of the references and stuff because like I can appreciate that. Um and I like just the ridiculousness of it. Yeah, yes, Arceus. That is exactly how I feel. Oh. She's 24. Let me motorboat them titties, okay? This whole show, it's like a hilarious brand of cringe. So, well, there are times where like I'm sitting here like, oh, this is so hard to watch because it's cringy. At the same time, it's meant to be that way. It's really meant to just derive its comedy from how cringy and ridiculous this whole thing is. Electrowave human talk. And then right at the end, we get something really weird going on with this one. Right? I mean, that was a little weird at first, but then I understood. They showed her lifting weights, and I'm like, oh shit. She got some titties. I same. Like this is not a show. Like I was talking to Muffler Tape, like in call. Like I don't know if I'm gonna watch this one. Like this is not my thing. I'm not really in episode 2. We get tackle. Okay, you know what? I'm here for it. If you keep showing the titties, if you keep bringing the titties, I am here for it. So that basically clears out the okay section. Because I dropped a bunch of them, wasn't a huge fan, or moved them up. Very, very weird how that happened. Unfortunately for me, though, there are a bunch of other anime to talk about. So let's start doing these one by one. So first off, we have more titties. We have Hands Off, Kotasashi-kun. The Yes, Wand Dance is in here. We will get to that, but that'll be later. So Massage Boy is really, really good with his hands. And right now, yeah, this one's going in the interesting category. This one's just going to go in the interesting category. So Massage Boy is really good with his hands. And the premise is you have a main character who wants to go into like sports therapy and all of this. And he gets put in charge of a dorm full of female athletes. And what is their excuse for animating uncensored titties on screen? These girls are just going to have orgasms while this guy fixes their body problems with massages and shit. And like helps them with health stuff. And I do have my praises for it. Like, I've enjoyed it, but mostly because the main character isn't spineless. He isn't a pussy. He is actually right there, like with some confidence, some backbone. He got some bravado. He can get some. I respect that in these kinds of protagonists. The ones who are all like fucking wallflowers and they like wilt away from any sort of challenge or whatever. No, this guy's better than all of them. That's why I respect this as an ecchi anime. I like the characters. I think that this one actually could be pretty good. Although, as you get with some of these like shorter, like half episode ecchi series, the intro was pretty shit. Was not a huge fan of that intro. So the one ecchi series. All right, you know what? You got me. We're going with it. All right. That brings us, of course, to Dad is a hero, Mom is a spirit, and I am a reincarnator. I can remember where that one. That one is right here. And this, I kind of enjoyed. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of enjoyed this one. It is basically Frieren Beyond Journey's End meets Spy Family meets Ascendance of a Bookworm. That is what this show is. And effectively the premise is that, you know, the hero and his partner who he summons, the Spirit Queen, save the world from the Demon King, but he has to go to the spirit world and be healed and all that. And in the time he's gone, he gets married and has a daughter who is isekai'd into this world. And now the daughter was like a scientist or like a chemist or something in her previous life. So she knows how to make materials out of thin air, basically. She can magically fabricate materials. Diamonds, titanium. This little girl has one of the most overpowered abilities you can get. But effectively, like the endearing part of it is just the whole wholesome family thing. You have a mother and you have a husband and wife who love each other, doting parents. I would not say that this is by any means like some excellent piece of storytelling, but I get some enjoyment out of it. Especially with the Miss Piggy Muppet at the very end of this. Like, it's going to be interesting seeing how all that goes, especially with Spirit Queen being fully ready to just nuke everything. She is full on ready to just nuke everything. So, I'm looking forward to this one. I think it's going to be another like one of those like cute, fun series. Just get some entertainment out of it, like a good family, like good wholesome family dynamic and stuff like that. Hopefully that keeps up and I enjoy the rest of it. Otherwise, sad day. Another one that was more entertaining than expected. I wasn't crazy about all the exposition dump that we got in episode 1. Hopefully it will take off from here. We'll see where it goes. If it improves in the later episodes, I'll be moving it up. But for now, it's an interesting series to me. So, that brings us to Alma-chan Wants to Be a Family. And this one, I actually do really like. I'm not going to lie. I thought this one was really good. You can make the argument of the whole parasocial relationship thing, but I thought this was like a very like surprisingly wholesome and cute series. where like you it's really funny that these two people are like LARPing at being mad scientists and they're doing all this stuff like to make the ultimate weapon and everything. Um and it basically they just ended up creating like I don't know, like the cutest android you could possibly make. See, the thing is, we're not going to like having sex with robots with this one. Like the best part about this is the two scientists like to act like they're both tsunderes. They really like to pretend like, oh well, we're just using each other because we recognize each other's superior intellect, and we're the only people who can do this, so we have to do this together. When in reality, they both just have a thing for each other and refuse to admit it. And I have a feeling that the fact that they just, have a thing for each other bled into their creation of Alma, and that's why she is the way she is. And of course, we have Alma registering them as parents and getting them to, share a room and all that. So I'm kind of looking forward to seeing like the whole thing with like the two scientists, um, like sort of like falling in love over like, basically nurturing this robot girl into being a real person. Meanwhile, the robot girl is just doing ridiculous stuff in the background, or she's like getting herself up to funny business. I look forward to this one, honestly. And since there's only one episode out, my hopes and dreams still could come crashing down. But this one, I think, is probably a much better thing when it comes to like the whole robot girl thing. I think this one's a much better rendition than My Wife Has No Emotion. That one's legitimately like, oh yeah, just have a parasocial relate. It's totally fine to have a parasocial relationship with a robot. Form attachment to a robot instead of real people. And that brings us AI man, lol. All right. A star brighter than the sun. Don't let Brittany hear that. I don't care what's she gonna do? What's she gonna do? Yell at me? So I do get some entertainment out of this. A star brighter than the sun. Effectively, the premise is you have this girl who's like been taller than everyone her entire life, and she has a crush on her childhood friend, who has this huge glow up in middle school and in high school. Um, I like the main characters, but this first episode, like it's a good, this one will probably end up filling my like shojo kick for the season. But this first episode really felt like an episode 0 to me. That's what it felt like. To be entirely honest, we basically get the whole setup. Like we get all like the backstory, much like with Dusk after the end of the world. So I'm looking forward, like I said, I'm looking forward to this. I like the characters, the guy and the girl. I think like they both very clearly have a thing for each other. So this is probably going to satisfy my shojo kick for the season. Um, but I feel like they probably could have started off on a better episode than what they did. Just my personal opinion. Okay. Is there an episode 2 of this out? I thought it came out on Sundays. I have not seen episode 2 of this yet. Am I just dumb? Did I miss something? Oh, there is 2 episodes. Fuck. Okay. Well, I'll get caught up on that. Well, I guess I'll have to get caught up on that. Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. So we'll see how I feel next week. Mangaka's Weirdly Wonderful Workplace. This is another okay entry. I find it kind of amusing. Like there are certain like entertaining parts of this, but it's not exactly my kind of a series. Really the big thing that makes this whole situation is just like you have both the editor and the mangaka like struggling with their own personal issues. Um Watch it now or DM me after. I can't watch it now. I'm on stream, motherfucker. Basically, I don't really find this one as entertaining as Biggles seems to, but it's an okay series. I'll continue watching it. It would probably be one of the first ones I would drop if I felt like I needed more time for something. All right, so I mean, effectively, the premise is you have this shit. You have this girl who is, working as a mangaka, and she is like getting her like first major publication or whatever. She's just not as big as everyone else that this editor is managing, but she has all of these like social anxieties and stuff, and like I don't know. I like the main character a little bit, but not enough to say that like the show is anything more than just okay. Okay. That brings us to my status as an assassin is obviously greater than the heroes. I'm putting this one in the interesting category for now. Because while I did enjoy the first episode, like it had a really good opening fight scene, I like that the main character isn't brain rotted. I feel like at times it can be kind of hit or miss. Like there are parts of it I liked, there are parts of it I didn't. And I'm really curious to see how much more of this goes on because the Griffith looking motherfucker, for whatever reason, I get the feeling that he is about to betray our main character, and there's going to be some goofy shit that goes on here. Like you have this whole coup thing, and yeah, it feels like it showed up to show failure frame how not or exactly how to do things, how not to fuck shit up. So I think it is an enjoyable show. I think this one does have potential to be like higher on the list, much like a Wild Last Boss appears. But I want to see a little bit more of it before I make that final assessment. We're gonna let it run. I didn't watch the dub, so the questioners, how you doing, man? All right, so Chitose is in a ramune bottle. This is one I don't quite know how to feel about. Nah, you're good, man. I like you're all right. I mean, it's not exactly like I've been around for any of your stuff either. So it's kind of a it goes both ways. So with Chitose is in a ramune bottle. So far, I like it, but I feel like this one is a bit too much tell and not enough show. Like we've been told a lot of things. I don't think it's done a good job of showing those things. Um, hey man, I've been trying to stop by and drop likes on your streams and stuff. At the very least. But it's kind of like this like weird harem anime about this guy who's constantly like solving problems for people and all that. And I get this feeling like it's getting like a set up. That one I didn't really like all that much. The character felt like fake and pretentious. Also, what psychopath just bashes a window with a baseball bat? I don't know. I don't hate him, but I feel like this is one that might end up getting dropped into the okay category because you know what? Given that, I feel like I am just going to put it in the okay category. I feel like that's a better place for it. I want to see where it goes. It kind of feels like this one's going to turn like way south, to be entirely honest. And someone's going to get killed and there's going to be a bunch of violence or whatever. This feels like one of those anime where, like, I don't know. Maybe I've got the wrong vibe on this one, but I don't know how to feel about this episode. So, yes, he's mentioned you in a couple of our conversations. I find the Chitose is in a ramen bottle a little bit volume 1 sucks and volume 2 is where it gets better. Interesting. We'll see how well that holds up. We will see how well that holds up. So yeah. Chitose is in a ramen bottle. This one is really pending more information on it. If it picks up as time goes on, cool. But that brings us to one that I do really like. One that I think is very, very good. Campfire cooking in another world. Goes in the very good slot. It goes in very good. Campfire cooking. So, this is another A tier isekai, much like the wrong way to use healing magic. Fair point. So, let's talk about campfire cooking in another world. So we get Dora-chan in this one, the little pixie dragon. So our boy now has another like legendary class familiar. Okay, and we get the whole crab and gyoza thing in here. I like the way, like, yeah, this is the food always looks good. It always makes me want food, and I love that about this show. Its animation talent really comes out when it's prepping food. I like the characters in this, Fell and of course Sui. I love Sui. Sui is adorable. Sui is must protect. Okay, well, if you want me to watch Tales of Wedding Rings, um, vote for that to be on the poll at the end of the show. Okay. I really like this show. The fact that it gets a same day dub and everything makes it even better for me because I really like the dub for this one. I think it's a very well constructed show overall. Um, and of course, I have to mention, uh, Rolo. What the fuck? I'm streaming right now, and you send me a stream link, retard. Anyway, did you watch season 1? Yes, I binged season 1 before this latest season started. Anyway, I have to bring it up because like this is something I thought was hilarious. They have an elf named Elrond. I just had to mention it. There's an elf named Elrond in here. So Lord of the Rings reference detected. Lord of the Rings reference detected. Uh okay. Um do highly recommend this one. It's very good. Dark History of Villainess. That is the next one. And this one, This one goes in the okay category too. So I enjoy this. It's amusing with how it comes off. I do think like the main girl trying not to get murdered by her butler and everything is great. I do remember kind of liking the opening. I would have to listen to it again. But I think the best part of this is, well, the part that conflicts me the most. This is the biggest part of it. Is it comes off like cringy teen fanfics, which is the entire reason that it's written. That's how it's written. It's supposed to be that way. But at times, like the way that storytelling goes in like treating it as a real setting doesn't intrigue me as much. To try and clarify how I feel about it is like I understand that like it probably is supposed to come off as it probably is supposed to come off as like cringy because that's what it is. It's supposed to be cringy. It's something that the main character is embarrassed about. But at the same time, it doesn't do like a world that I'm really like super invested in. It doesn't do something that I'm like super enthralled by. He went to a concert. You didn't happen to go to a Demon Hunter concert, did you? Anyway, I think this one probably could improve in the upcoming episodes. Hey, I'm actually wearing a shirt from that concert. It was here in Illinois. So it's the same tour. I even got the little like keychain and everything. Yeah, I got my War of Ages shirt on right now. Could probably turn around and show a little more of the back. I wanted to, but I wanted to do the VIP. I kind of like, but I couldn't afford to pay for 3 VIP tickets because me, my brother, and a buddy were going. But it was a hell of a show. And just to brag a little bit, we were at a restaurant down the street from the venue, and War of Ages walked in and sat behind us. So that was an experience. Whew. So yeah, Dark History of Villainess, Ganglion. We'll try and get through a couple of these so we can do the end of show, So Ganglion. This is a short anime. I'm going to put it on the binge list, but I'm still going to keep watching it. The only reason I put it on the binge list is because this is an anime that it's 3 minutes. The episodes are 3 minutes long. And effectively it is like a show where about like one of like the fodder guys, but he works for a corporation that signs him up for these fodder jobs. So it's kind of going to be like a working man comedy in shorts. So yeah. Demon Hunter remember me from 2 years ago when I did VIP for during Exile. I did VIP during Exile too. That was awesome, actually. Like getting all that stuff. So I have a couple of signed things around here. Actually, hold on a second. I'm gonna pull myself up here. So yeah, all of my Demon Hunter stuff is over here in the corner. So like you can see all the stuff I've got. There we go. And make sure I reduce that so everyone can see this. Hey guys, look, I remembered to do it. Okay. So Ganglion, it's an interesting little thing, but nothing like super crazy. You've shown me your collection at one point, questioners. I think we've gone over that. This monster wants to eat me. A depressed girl wants to die, lesbian vor. Not for me. Straight up not for me. The premise is the main girl misses her family. They all died. She wants to keep herself safe. And she's constantly thinking about, just ending it all, Cobain. And then a mermaid tracks her down and says that she's going to eat her. So, lesbian vor. Got it. Not for me. All right. Let's go to Let's Play. So I have a question to anyone here who's listening who has been watching anime. Have any of you been watching Let's Play? Or do any of you plan to watch Let's Play? Because the answer to this question is going to determine whether I continue or don't continue. Okay. So Jeremy Turner says he has. Muffler Tape says yes. Marcel says yes, I have. Arcia says no, I dropped it. So to you three who have, who said yes, I have, are you planning on continuing it? Because if you guys aren't watching, or if only one of you is going to be watching this, I'm not doing this show. Marcel says he already felt like dropping it. Okay. Jeremy says I probably will, but won't push. And it looks like, because I'm really split on this one. I like the upbeat. Okay, so this one is definitely going in the not for me category. Don't like reverse harem. All right, yeah, fair enough. I kind of looked forward to this because I was somewhat familiar with like the idea of it. I had not like the whole idea of it. But now that I've seen this anime, I was split on it. First half of episode 1, loathed it, hated it, didn't like episode 1. Second half of episode 1, you know what? This isn't bad. It's getting better. There are some interesting things going on here. I hate the art style for it. I think this anime looks terrible. The intro, I hated the intro to this series. I thought it was shit. So I was really torn about whether I wanted to continue subjecting myself to this. And if all of chat was going to watch it, I was going to subject myself to it. But it seems like you guys are kind of split on it. And those of you who are still watching it seem like more likely to drop it than anything. So I'm not going to bother. It's going in the not for me category, and we are ignoring it. Thank you, everyone. I can go. Where is it? Let's play. Edit. We are no longer watching. We have dropped. All right. So there's that. Set that as complete. So now we're down to 25 anime for the season. Thank God. Oh, called that number a ton. Was that like 33? And I think I've dropped 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 32, I guess. Actually, no, it was 33 because I had wrong way to do healing magic in there. Anyway, so thank God for that. That's another anime I can cut. I am not going to be watching Let's Play. Let's move on. Pass the monster meat, milady. Interesting. Could get better. Didn't like the intro for this one. I think it's a nice love story, and I like how they don't really beat around the bush too much. That is something I really enjoy. The two main characters I think are good people who can be worked into a good story, like a good love story, and it leaves me looking forward to more. I've enjoyed it so far. The stepmom can get bent. She's shit, but so far everything else has been pretty good. And that just leaves Wand Dance and Mechanical Marie. Yeah, I think the biggest part of it to me is just they immediately got together. Like he is like straight up like, I'm just gonna propose to this girl because I like being around her. I mean, yeah, it's kind of implied, but by get bent. Um, it's just another way of saying get fucked. I don't like her. I think the stepmom is kind of shit. Anyway, Wand Dance. Let's talk about Wand Dance. Apparently, the single most controversial anime of the season. Well, actually, not the single most. These two right here are some of the most controversial anime of the season for whatever reason. So we'll start with Wand Dance because that's higher in my notes. And Wand Dance was okay. I think it has an interesting premise. It has potential as far as like the character goes. And to those of you who have been around for like the fictionology streams and stuff, or who are in discords with the guy, when I say that the main character for this reminds me of Roman of RG Energy, I mean it. Like he straight up just like he reminds me a lot of that guy. Anyway, he's a good person. He's just a little awkward, has a stutter and all of that. Um I thought it was hilarious that they straight up just dropped Scatman in this. Like, yeah, we're just gonna talk about Scatman. I'm the Scatman. Um, but really the big thing about this is a Madhouse anime. And a lot of people have complained about the 3D animation that they used for this. And let me tell you something. A lot of people have said, "Hey, it looks like AI and all that." I don't think so. And I'm going to make a case as to why I firmly believe it is not AI. But before that, I think the studio shows, like Madhouse shows, that they clearly could have done better, but chose not to. The Scatman caught me off guard. Because there are scenes in here where they are using 2D animation and they are doing it really well. But for the bulk of the dancing scenes, they're very clearly using they're very clearly using mocap. Madhouse didn't do the CGI. Cyclone Studios did. They work with Madhouse. Okay. Okay. Anyway, I mean, it makes sense because Madhouse is probably more occupied with doing Frieren season 2. Yes. A lot of people have been complaining that, like, oh, they must have used AI for this. No, it's very clearly mocap. And they did it because they wanted to capture all of the intricacies of the dance moves being done. So I understand the decision, but the smoothness of it is just so unnerving in this format that it's a huge turnoff. Like, I do think it was a bad decision to go with mocap, but I understand why they did it. Because it's very easy to mocap someone dancing and like insert it in there, as opposed to having someone actually do the whole thing. So from a technical standpoint, I understand why they would go with that. From a visual standpoint, from the audience viewpoint, I agree it doesn't look the greatest. And we do know, because we've seen it in the show, that Madhouse actually can, like the animation studio can do things really well. They just chose not to. I think that's the biggest disappointing part of this. I feel like it probably could be a really good story if you weren't like distracted by some of the obvious flaws that it has. Too much time it would take. Yeah. Yeah. And of course, this isn't the only one to be accused of using AI. We also have Mechanical Marie being accused of using AI animation for its show. Yoda speech. I wasn't going to make fun of him for it. I wasn't going to make fun of him for it. This is another one that can go in the okay category. They mocapped Rock as a ladies' modesty band scenes, and it's a bit jarring at times. That said, it is better seeing something resemble real life. As a watcher or as a musician, it is better seeing something resemble real life. As a watcher, it's weird. So with Mechanical Marie, the big AI allegation part that comes out of it is you have some like exposition scenes that go to a completely different art style that looks AI generated. Yeah, yeah. I enjoy the premise of this show. Like you have this emotionless girl like faking being a robot so that she can stay close to and protect this guy who everyone wants to assassinate for some reason. I just don't think the delivery is very good on it. I'm gonna give it a couple more episodes, but again, we're into a category like in a category where like your next couple of episodes is really gonna determine how I feel about you. So we will see with this one. I don't know if I support the AI allegations for this. I feel like that might be jumping the gun because, yeah, but who knows? I could be wrong. That said, though, this is where we are for the season. So we're just going to take a screenshot of that. And we'll call it there. Kind of. Because, like I said, we have to do a poll. I'll be honest. I don't really care. If you enjoy it, just enjoy it. Yeah, that's how I feel. The AI allegations have nothing to do with my take on Mechanical Marine. It is entirely to do with their presentation. Your chart looks like it's giving us the finger. Anyway, so this upcoming week, I am going to be watching Akiba Maid War because that is what was voted on. But in the meantime, you guys get to decide what we're going with. So, Muffler Tape says, my suggestions have not changed, so hopefully you didn't scrub all of those. I don't know if I wrote anything down, but if you're still voting for, the realist hero, or how the realist hero saved the kingdom, we'll put that back on. But for me, let's go. Okay, so let's go to post. I would have to watch season 1 first. So what you're saying is that I should put Tale of Wedding Rings, or Tales of Wedding Rings. just the first season on there, and I should catch up on that. So let us create poll. Yeah, text poll. So yeah, again, when it comes to Tales of Wedding Rings, if I do season 1, then yes, I will do I will start doing season 2 for this season. I'll start going over that. So it seems like everyone so far we have Realist Hero and Tales of Wedding Rings. Which means we have 2 other options, which technically is only one because I'm going to put one of my own choices on here. So let's see if there's anything that I really, really want to watch that just I haven't gotten around to. Asobi Asobase. Interesting. We have Grand Blue and Asobi Asobase. You know what? I think I actually am going to put Asobi Asobase on there just for my own choice. Because it seems like a lot of people really want that. So there is one more that you guys are going to get a choice over, I guess. We have one vote for Grand Blue Dreaming. Will be my vote until you watch it. So right now on the list is the Realist Hero, the Tales of Wedding Rings, Asobase. Orlando says, "Hello, I am late." Maybe I'll just add another one on here myself. Because if that's the case, I may just throw something like Bartender on there. Bartender. Yes. So this is going to be a page on. This will be on the community page for my YouTube channel. So you guys actually get a choice, in what goes on the list, while the actual voting is done entirely publicly. So anyone on the channel will get to vote, but you guys get to choose the options. You guys get to rig the election. Everyone else gets to vote in it. Okay. So again, we still got one more slot here because technically, I mean, a couple of you guys put on Sobe Asobase, but I kind of felt like I was going to put that one on there anyway. So one more anime, preferably one that has like 12 episodes or something that I can finish fairly easy. Nothing that's going to be like 100 and some odd episodes because I got to be able to I got to try and do this inside of a week. I'll just get all my Twitter followers to vote. Denied. Denied. All right. So, how a realist hero I have not watched 86. So right now the suggestions are The Fable and 86. Did someone sneeze in the background? No, you might have heard my brother yelling. He's like literally in the room, like right behind my computer setup here. Do you want a romance? Um, it really depends. I mean, if we get a couple of people to agree on one, we're about done here anyway. See you later. Have a good one. If we can get a couple of people to agree on one more option, we'll go with that. Golden Time is not that bad. Okay. I've already watched My Love Story. And we've got some agreement on Golden Time. Have you watched Golden Boy? Well, maybe we'll save that one for next week because it seems like Arceus and Muffler Tape both seem to be on the same page. Marcel's second Grand Blue for me. Oh, he means Golden Boy. Okay, then maybe we'll put Golden Boy on here. I guess that's the one we will put on there. In the end, I don't think it especially matters. I don't know if Jeremy is getting cut out or not, but if that is the case, then next week we'll make it up to him. But we're gonna go with that. So for the upcoming week, the options for what you guys are gonna subject me to is Golden Boy, Asobe Asobase, Tales of Wedding Rings, and how a realist hero rebuilt the kingdom. Okay, this is going to be very interesting. And with that said, like I said, I'll be watching a Keep 'Em Made War this week. And I will see you in the next one. Jeremy Turner with $5. Thank you. Oh, well. Thank you. Laters. I hope you guys have a good week. Actually, I'll be seeing you maybe tomorrow if I decide to stream Battlefield 6. And then most definitely Monday with the Biggles breakdown. So that being said, normal videos, Crimson News Network coming up, all that kind of stuff. Have yourselves a good one. Play us out, Random Magic Girl.
I am 火花ちゃん。わか